Good morning. I hope everybody is doing well. What about your all the portions now? Did you check in the syllabus? Now we are going to finish module number 4 as such. Only 1 or 2 classes needed. All areas of module number 4 will be finished. Are you happy? Do you feel confidence that to face all the challenges in the exams? No, one internal exam over, right? See, as that you being a student should feel too much confidence. It is not the matter of small textbook or guide that available in the market that you study and prepare for the exam. You should have a deep knowledge. Once you get some extraordinary items from other fields that would help you to go face the exams, that will make you more proficient. That is the reason that why that I give you a lot of extraordinary things. What I teach in the last class also, we taught you so many things which are not given your prescribed textbook. But it is given by so many other grammatical textbooks and linguistic textbooks. So it would have been finished by the last class, but some additional pieces of information needed. That which makes you different from other students, different from other college students. You are St. Josephian students. You are students of St. Joseph College. So once your answer paper valued by teachers, they should feel that you know some extraordinary things. Are you okay? So once, depending on the syllabus, depending on the prescribed textbooks, that is not that much sufficient. You just refer to so many other books. No, recently I read one of the articles written by a writer, and it is based on an interview on Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill, one of the very dynamic leaders of England during the World War II, and on his biography, many criticism have happened. So many people have written about him. That is why, Abdul Kalam tells what is the significance of a person. How you can make an assessment on a person that he is being successful. See, such type of extraordinary references, extraordinary readings that you must have because you are a student of literature. You are a student of language and literature. So your knowledge of horizon should be very, very expanded. Once you try to be a beautiful reader, 80% of literature will be with you. Then you will be starting to love literature. That is not merely the books or stories, novels written by some writers. Some biographies, autobiographies. And this man, in an interview to Winston Churchill, asked him, all right, sir, what is the real meaning of success? It has been referred to so many people. I referred to so many utterances by Abdul Kalam in the previous classes. So the same question will ask you, people will ask you later, what is the meaning of real success? What will you tell if anybody asking you, what is the meaning of success? An unexpected answer from Churchill happened. That in the biography he says, success can be referred as a, all right, a journey from first failure to second failure without boring. Did you get me what I said? See, according to Churchill, real meaning of success is, it is a small journey from first failure to second failure. without boring. You should not hesitate that you do your work. So it is a journey, or it is a movement from one defeat to another defeat. The process is called success. Not a man who has been a rank holder, one who has an IAS certificate may not be successful in life. But once you feel that you bore in the life, success becomes failure. Is a philosophical utterance by Churchill. So make sure that your failure is not the ultimatum. The failure is only the stepping stone. As Abdul Kalam referred in the earliest class that I told you, it is the first attempt in learning. FAIL means first attempt in learning. Then you start the second learning. In the same way, the same philosophy you apply in the field of language, you will get plenty pieces of new informations. Plenty pieces of information. That which makes you wonder that you are being a language student, you will like to love language. You know what you study earlier, BA English or MA English, it has two components. One component is called language aspect. The other area called literature aspect. So language and literature are incorporated, interconnected. So once you improve language, automatically your literature will be okay with you. So without language, literature is nothing to do with. So be careful, enhance or accelerate your memories or the bundle of words, bundle of vocabulary. That is why Robert Lado says, Robert Lado I referred in the previous class. Robert Lado is an English language teacher trainer. He has written beautiful book for second language, English as a second language. He says all the words from different areas, from different fields that you collect, they are compared to be the bricks of a building. Once you keep bricks in a correct order, a wall can be made. After the wall's construction, roof can be made. In the same way, all the words, all the vocabulary that you select and you get from the field, keep it under custody for making a building like a language. It is a comparison by Robert Lado in one of his books. So today I try to give you one more attempt to enhance how we can enhance or accelerate or make more bundle of words in your custody. So many methods that we studied, the affixation process we studied, am I right? We studied the affixation process, we studied morphology, how it is connected to other fields, and what is a morpheme, what is a bound morpheme, what is a free morpheme, what is allomorph. All these we discussed in the previous class. Do you remember? You should know, being a student should refer always and forever. But in the textbook prescribed by university, this area not in given detail. It is not, more than sufficient. But you have to refer some other books and keep under custody. These are the possibilities of making you more proficient. That is why we give you one more class related to the vocabulary building. This section deals with formal words and informal words. This is the topic that we have to deal today. Formal words and informal. Once anybody asking you what is meant by formal word. Formal word means that you have to keep in mind. There will be a confusion later. Formal. What is the meaning of formal? You know, people wear formal shirts, casual shirts. So casual shirts and casual apparels and formal apparels are different. So once you get a formal as a word, what is formal as a term means? Formal means that is much accepted to the field of academic writing. That you probably studied in your previous semester or in the common course. What is academic writing? So in the field of academic writing, example for writing a treatise, once you write an article, once you write an essay, that depends on narrative style or descriptive style or any other argumentative style, that you prefer certain terminology, certain terms which are not used in the casual way, which are not used in the informal way. Means informal as a word, that may be referred to casual way. Informal is a word that may be referred to in a daily spoken system or once day-to-day usages, common usages. Just like what we call some areas people different, they use what you are going to study or might have studied dialects and isoglosses, and what you call area people prefer particular words and all that. And even people refer cliches. Cliche. What is meant by cliche? We cannot explain everything. As being a student of literature language, you have to refer. What is a cliche? One method of usage of a language in a particular area, particular people may be different from other group of people. So what I try to make you understand, what is the difference between formal and informal means, formal is in the way, in the standard form. Are you okay? Are you okay? Then what would you say? You might have studied in phonology. What is RP system? What is RP system? RP system, you refer in RP system. What is RP system? RP system means received pronunciation system. What is received pronunciation system? How can you make a parameter for that? It is given by Daniel Jones and what you call A.C. Gimson in the phonetics field or phonological field. RP system is a system, the method by which people of educated people, keep in mind educated people, how they speak in and around London city. Means what? Out of London city, plenty number of places are available where English being spoken. But you know, wow, how they compare the best language, how they compare the beautiful spoken English. It is referred to the RP system. Means RP system provides you standard forms of real spoken English. That is why Daniel Jones refers there. So once Tamilian people, once Malayali people, or once Telangana people speak English, that cannot be compared to RP because RP system is to be acquired. For example, in Tamil, all right, 99% people in Tamil Nadu, people say not only but also. Not only but also. Zero. They say zero. Zero is in informal way they use. They RP people won't allow it. Not only because, not only but also. People say 80 to 90%. But educated people are there. That is also in and around Chennai city, Madurai city, Tirunelveli city, Coimbatore city may speak good English. But to go to interior parts of the land, Tamil Nadu, people use it in their own way. That is the difference. What I want to try to make you understand, what is the informal vocabularies, what are the formal vocabularies, what is the significance. What is its significance? Formal vocabulary means that vocabulary you select can be used in the way of writing, in the general way. The way of writing means formal relates to academic level. Informal, not in academic level, but we can use it either in the informal way or in like a cliche manner that we can speak of, means related to spoken area. For example, we simply we use get. Simple word, get. What did you want? We use everywhere and forever. Get. It is really a good word that is available in dictionary. But once you come to the formal method of writing, when you come to academic level, in the way of writing a treatise, in the way of preparing a project, when we are preparing a piece of article, essay, whether narrative or argumentative in or another way, that word is considered to be informal. But we use different words for get. For the formal way. Alright, first word we will write receive. Look here, receive. Second word that we can use obtain. Alright, third word that we can use achieve. Look here. So one word that you get in English may be informal, but it can be converted to the formal. Why? The method that you have to study, what all the possible different meanings of that particular parental word given. So parental word given get, then think that whether it is used commonly by all. If it is used commonly by all, that becomes informal. So don't think that informal words are not used for academic writing or what you call in the formal way. Can be converted. It can be converted. That is the only possible way that you study synonym as a process of word formation. Synonyms that you call in a particular word has different other forms of words called a synonym will come. It is one of the process. So before entering to this area that you underline or understand what is formal, and we have particularly vocabulary is divided into active vocabulary and passive vocabulary. Again problem coming, what is there? Active vocabulary means what? Those vocabulary items which are used by a speaker in a daily basis, which are used either in writing or speaking or listening or reading, whether he is familiar to such a word. If he is familiar to such a word, that word is considered to be active. But once you study passive, that passive word which when you try to use it in academic writing, means what? Your academic writing will be more dynamic. So what should be your effort? Your effort should study maximum as much passive vocabulary as possible that you acquire. What is meant by passive vocabulary? Means it is not active vocabulary. Then what is active vocabulary? Active vocabulary is a vocabulary or what is a word that has been used by all in a daily basis, in a daily life. That has been used in daily life. That everybody is familiar with. But those words which are coming under PV means passive vocabulary system, are not that much familiar, but it has an authentic meaning. So you should try to study as many passive vocabulary as possible. Then what all the ways how can you develop passive vocabulary? That is only by keeping a very good touch with the language. Means reading and listening. If you read a lot, example, daily newspaper, Hindu newspaper or Indian Express newspaper, Times of India, you will be having a influence. What is called, you are much influenced by language writers. So every day, suppose you read a passage, after one paragraph in a big piece of news given in the newspaper, underline that word which is not recognized by you, which is not familiar to you. Keep it in a notebook. Then try to find its meaning from the dictionary or from anywhere, any sources. That will make you more proficient. So passive vocabulary, once you are the controller of passive vocabulary, no doubt your language will be very dynamic. So active vocabulary is the vocabulary that is being used by all the people, and you, it has a limitation. Passive vocabulary, it has no limitation. It has been spread in like an Atlantic Ocean. That you take a small boat and go there and fetch it in a bag and come back to the bank of the river. That is the possibility. This passive vocabulary controlling is needed. So, formal and informal, the concept that you got, informal is just like the word in a way or another way related to passive, not used by all. Are you okay? Plenty examples we can use. For example, we'll take one example, how to identify, all right, example. How to identify. Example, able. You take able as a word. Everybody knows. But you write another word, competent. Competent or ability, replaced by competence, replaced by capacity. All these are coming from one word to another word. So which one is belong to the not in the informal way, that you make it to formal, then your language will be example we use informal way. I'll take one example, lot of particular word. Example, you take a die, is much commonly used, die. That is also possible in Malayalam. You know, in Malayalam, our Kerala, people use in different word for this die. Actually, what is die? What is death? What is die? Some areas in Kerala, people say it is in a funny way or another way, in a colloquial way. In a colloquial way means informal way. In a cliche way, that they use different words, which may not be accurate, but people use it. Die. Actually, what is that? Die means, example, we write marichu, all right. We write marichu, die, marikua, all right. But many people say in different way. People say, what is that? Vadiyai. Some people say, vadiyai. That is colloquial. Some people say, chalilai. Common, particularly in the border place, people say, it is their dialect. Some people say, oh, chatui. Oh, some people say, avande ariyati. People say. Some people say, tekoteduthu. Some people say, tekoteduthu. All these words, vadiyai, kaatuvui, chalilai, ariyati, tekoteduthu, all these are informal in colloquial way. They can be considered as cliches, informal. But once you apply this in the formal way of writing, different. It cannot be used. People won't use it, or people won't accept it. But in your border place dialect it may be possible, but you have to convert it either in a beautiful way, like Marichubui. Some people say in Malayalam Divengadanai. Some people say Niryadanai. Look here, what a beautiful word they use on respect of a person who died. He never say in a funny way. All right. Kartavil Nidra Prabichu. Some people say Kartavil Nidra Prabichu. Suppose they are kings and queens. People say Nadu Ningi. They say Nadu Ningi. In English we say instead of die, like passed away, went west. Some people say went west. Then breathed last. Some people even in a figurative way they use went to heaven. Look here. So informal number of words are available, but these informal number of words are not that much accepted in the formal way of writing. So once you control this, just like went west, breathed last, maybe somewhat formal, which are very attractive. Such words, such phrases you have to use. Also, academic way of writing that you have to use. Some informal words which often come in our mind when we write. When we write some informal words, so many informal words unknowingly enter to our brain when we write authentic academic writing. Some people say, all right, that is informal. 90% time people use all right in the communicative English, but not in the written English. In the way of spoken area, people say all right. Really, people say, okay. Some people say okay. But we cannot use such a word in the formal way of writing. Just like you see, what I mean is, sometimes people use it 99% of time once they speak. But they just like obviously, that word is okay, but repeating obviously would make the spoken English and communicative English in a boring way. So means what, as Robert Lado says, you should be very, very prudent. What is meant by prudent? Control your vocabulary selection. Don't say like obviously, all right. What I mean is. Informal is okay. This section is called discourse markers. That may be referred in the communicative English. Discourse markers. These discourse markers are there. Sometimes I had a lecturer, when he comes in the class, always starting, we start. That is a word is there, but each sentence and every sentence he uses like that. So that is a discourse marker. But unknowingly continuing such a phrase, such a discourse markers repeatedly would make your language bore. That should be kept in our mind. Of course, some people say, of course. Anyway, I see. All these are informal methods of discourse markers. So such a discourse, so you have to make a list on that. Or otherwise, once you listen to a speech by any people in your social media, then you collect how many discourse markers such a particular person makes use of in his speech. Such a discourse markers will be 80 to 90 or 95% will be informal. Such informal words cannot be directly converted, but they should be studied and suitably equivalent word from the formal dictionary, formal field of vocabulary you select, then you supply. Are you okay? Are you with me? You understand me? So this is the very significant area that you should keep in mind. We use 80 to 90% informal way. Such a way of presentation, such a way of writing, not possible in academic way. Are you okay? So, in addition to the previous 2-3 classes, we are now making a voyage in the field of how vocabulary can be constructed, how vocabularies can be accelerated. This is also one of the way. First we find active and passive. Passive may be considered to be your informal way, but once passive vocabulary which are not familiar to you can be referred its meaning and also can be used in formal way. That is the difference that you have to keep in mind. I will tell you one example. Have you heard about ad hoc? Look here, ad hoc, ADOC, ad hoc means then suo motu. Look here, suo motu, one word, suo motu. Ad hoc and suo motu. Sometimes suo motu. Ad hoc means whenever you read a newspaper, whenever you listen a speech, sometimes such words will coming. Bona fide. Look here, bona fide. Look here. These words are PV words, passive vocabulary words. Means what? You are not familiar with them. If you are not familiar with them, your duty is to make familiar with them. Then make it your active vocabulary. Then use it in academic writing. Formal writing will be okay. Once you do not get the meaning, once you read in the newspaper, pick it out, keep it in a notebook and refer to a dictionary and understand the meaning. Example, ad hoc means what? Temporarily. Ad hoc means temporarily, for the time being. Suo motu, you have often coming in the newspaper, suo motu. High Court took a case suo motu. Nobody has put a writ there, but our judge himself took a case suo motu. That is a technical way. Then bona fide certificate, you get bona fide certificate. Somewhere you got prime facie. Look here. Prime facie, a technical word. Passive vocabulary. Prime facie means what? Prime facie means you fall in love with somebody at first sight. That is called prime facie. X fell in love with Y at prime facie. At prime facie means passive vocabulary. It should be converted to formal way, because you should know the meaning and also be in a position to make others understand its meaning. Then it will be active vocabulary, prime facie, at first sight. Then prime facie, ad hoc, suo motu, bona fide, such areas coming. Signed die indefinitely. A technical word is sign die. Okay, S-I-N, sign die. Look here, sign die. It means indefinitely. What I try to tell you, you should study such passive vocabulary items. How can you get it? You can get it only by the way of reading. And how you read? Take beautiful books, either biography or novel story writing. Just like Khushwant Singh's 1,000 stories of my life. You take a beautiful story collection, or Tagore's short story collection. You will get so many passive vocabulary that you keep in your method, then it will be okay. So once you get bona fide, in memoriam, some people use in memoriam. All right, in memoriam. Look, in memoriam. All right, in memoriam is a passive vocabulary phrase. What is meant by in memoriam? In memoriam means in memory of. In memoriam. So I give you only finger-tipped numbers that you go and collect or select from other source of books. It will be easy for you. But I tell you, some passive vocabularies are available which are not familiar to you, that your duty is to make them familiar and are to be ready to use it in way of academic writing. So area will be example, run for life. All people use run for life. It is a take. In call names. What is meant by call names? Look here, call names. Call names. All right, some people use call names. What is call? Some X uses bad words against Y. So people say call names. He used call names. He called me all the names. Call all the names. All the names is a technical passive vocabulary there appearing, means used as many bad words as possible. That is call all the names. Alright, make I set. Some people say, all these are coming again in the field of phrases and idioms. That again coming. But to make you understand what is PV and AV, alright, some people say, make I set. Make I set. Look. Make eyes yet. Alright, what is meant by make I set? Some boys and girls cutting the class, going to the park and sitting, they make I set. They make I set. They simply sit and talk something. Flirt them easily. Then we call egghead. People call egghead. What is meant by egghead? X in our class is an egg-headed man. What is meant by egg? Egg-headed is a passive vocabulary. Egg-headed means he is an intelligent boy. Egg-headed boy means he is an intelligent boy. Okay. Push by neck. Push by neck. What is meant by push by neck? Kongeki pidikka in Malayalam we say. Push by neck. So these words, what I try to use, we can use formal words in our academic writing by selecting good PV. Good PV means good passive vocabulary. All these passive vocabulary can be converted to active vocabulary. Then we come to another area, what is called idioms. Alright, idioms. Alright. What is meant by an idiom? Alright, that is very important. It is a phrase. Keep it in mind. What is meant by idiom? Idiom. See, being a student, you should develop not only your IQ, but also your EQ. What is meant by EQ? IQ and EQ are different. IQ, that you develop your intelligence. Being a student, that everybody should have IQ. Then only you can get nice marks in the exams. But EQ means, it is actual, psychologists say IQ means intelligent quotient. IQ should be developed by way of studying, learning, reading, everything, by doing practice. But EQ means emotional quotient. Emotion should be kept in custody. Some people are, what is meant, how can you differentiate IQ and EQ? IQ is academic. Emotion is by the way of behavior. That you should develop your behavior. Example, once you are put in among strangers, whether you would be accustomed to the strangers. If you are doing in a very easy way, that you are becoming a very familiar person, accustomed person to the field number of strangers, means what? You are emotionally cushioned. You are adjustable. In the way, once you approach vocabulary as such in the field, you should get some intelligent vocabulary items, also emotionally packed items. So you keep in what is emotionally packed, which all the ways that we use here. Suppose you live at a particular village of Chavakadu. You should be ready to use what Chavakadu people are trying to use. Not like Bombay or Calcutta people use in Chavakadu. So that means emotionally you have to develop a setup to acquire particular knowledge. That is why, it is the technique that, a child born to parents who are not English people, that child may not be an English child. Means they, after some time, suppose their parents are Hindi people or Tamil people, child's parents, ex-father and mother, are Tamil people or Malayali people, child will automatically start Malayalam speaking. That is what we say. Example, suppose parents are Malayalis and a child who is in the house, but the child who is controlled by a nanny who speaks English 24 hours in the house, definitely child will become an English child. Because more exposure is given to the child by nanny in English, not by in Malayalam. Parents are there, Malayali parents, Hindi parents. They are in the office 24 hours. But child is controlled and taken, protected by the nanny who speaks only English. 99% there is a tendency child will start to speak English. In the same way, you go to Chavakad people. I am coming from Mumbai, but I live in Chavakadu. Or you have seen so many Bengali employees here. They start speaking Malayalam. How do they? Because they are accustomed to the environment of that society. Suppose they are not ready to use Malayalam of that particular poverty village, they may not be able to live here. They will be getting bored and going back their home. Return of the native, they will go. So, what I try to tell you is, one should be emotionally cushioned once you go to study language of a particular person. So, be careful once you come to idioms, once you come to phrases. It's a mega field that going to teach you. This area to be covered, you just refer any grammatical textbooks wherever possible. Plenty number of grammar books available, where in university grammar book also you will get a plenty number of phrases. Almost common use phrases are there in 200 to 300. Then idiomatic phrases are there. So what all the things that you study, keep in your notebook systematically. So far I maintain in a systematic way. Next topic we go to idioms. All these idioms, all right, related to some phrases. How are they different from idioms? That we will discuss in next class. Thank you very much. See you.